Okay, welcome to another video. This is going to be really different than what I usually do. Since I've not done the video that I've been working on, I'm put together a list of every car that I've owned so far. My buddy gave me this idea, so we're going to try it out. I'm 22 and I've owned 21 cars. This list is going to keep going for years because I have an addiction. The starting of this list, it's not perfect cars. There were a lot of field cars and just cars I destroyed. About halfway through it, that's whenever I start getting cars that are actually on the road because I finally had my license. So let's start it off. I don't have any real pictures of this one. This is my first car. It was a 2001 Saturn SW2 wagon. It was manual. My mom bought it for me for a birthday present. Used it as a field car, and then one day we decided to cut everything out of it, and we weren't that smart with cars yet. We cut all the wires to the fuel pump to everything, so it wouldn't run. So that car didn't last long. I ended up selling it to one of my buddies. Actually, like the first 6 cars I've sold to the same exact friend. But then, so first car over, wagon, not much to show. Like I said, I pulled the picture off of Google, but looks identical. My second car, I got a black Sunfire. Don't remember the year. Don't remember anything about it. My mom took it as a trade whenever she was working at a dealership. Sold it to me for $100. Didn't even make it home that night. We had to leave it at McEwen's for like a week. And then I actually don't remember what happened to this car. I don't remember if I destroyed it. I don't remember if I just sold it one day. No clue what the fuck happened to it. But then next, a big change. I got a silver Sunfire, and I actually have some pictures of this one because this is whenever I started actually getting videos just of shit. So I have the papers for it right here. It was a 2004 Pontiac Sunfire with 170K on it. I bought it for $367. This is the car where I started to realize I wanted to start doing modding and stuff. Thank God I didn't start modding that car because I don't want to be that guy who has a modded Sunfire look like this guy. Bought it to put it on the road. But of course I was like 14 or 15 at the time, and it lasted maybe 2 weeks before me and a bunch of buddies destroyed it. I have a bunch of videos, so I'm going to put a couple in right now. My next car was an 03 Chevrolet S10, my first truck. I saw it one day at my mom's dealership that she was working at, offered $600, and they let me take it. It was in really good shape. Like, I could have genuinely put this car on the road. Of course, my first rear-wheel drive vehicle, I was drifting and doing burnouts everywhere. After realizing I couldn't control myself, I ended up sending it to my grandparents, where I would put it away for the winter. After a long winter, we brought it back, and probably within a couple weeks, me and Ryan went out drifting in the rain, clipped a tree, and destroyed the thing. So after that, it kind of turned into a YouTube truck. And you could have guessed it, the next car also was meant to go on the road, but it never did. I got it through my family. They handed it down. It was sitting for years. The black leather interior literally turned green. It was disgusting. Nothing really happened with this car. I blew the suspension in it, and then we decided to destroy it.
Hey, didn't see you there. Welcome to the crib.
My next car wasn't really a car. This is my 1987 Chevrolet RV. I'm counting it as a car. I drove, so I traded my 5th wheel camper that I bought off my mom for it. The whole back of the camper itself was completely rotted. I just wanted an RV for some reason at the time. Never actually slept in it. I had it for like 2 years. I never slept in it. One day I came outside, the wind ripped the door right off of it. So that's when, of course, like everything else, I started to destroy it. I thought it was a good idea to start destroying it, but then I was like, why am I wasting this? Let's turn it into a flatbed. So I start ripping the walls off and everything. And then that never happened, of course, because I was 15 or 16. That's me in that age. I didn't finish any of my jobs. That's my 5th car, and all of them so far have went to the same guy. The motor, I'm pretty sure with the RV, is now in a Camaro. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. Finally, my official first car. We're just gonna guess. I think it was a 2006 Monte Carlo. It was somewhere around those lines. It was my grandma's car. She gave it to me whenever I turned 16. That V6 packed a punch, so I was peeling everywhere. I was doing burnouts everywhere. It was my high school car, and I was a douche in it. The rockers were like completely rusted out, and I remember walking out of school and there'd be people kicking in the rusted rockers, so it was just holes everywhere in this car. It felt like it lasted so much longer, but I only had it from March till May. It kept dying out at school. It would leave me in the middle of intersections just completely dead. The key ended up getting stuck in the ignition. It wouldn't turn on. There were so many things wrong with this car. I just ended up selling it to my buddy Turner, who sold it for scrap. Also don't know the year of this, but it was Kia Magentas. And this is one my friend Cal gave me. He was leaving for university, and the car's safety only lasted a little longer or something. So he gave it to me. His dad did the custom paint job. Looked f***ing sick. Started doing really random things to it. Like I tin canned the whole interior and then painted it mint green in there. I don't know, but it looked cool. And then I ended up trading it with my buddy Ryan for his 4-wheeler. The engine ended up seizing, I guess, and just went to scrap. Now, one of my favorite vehicles. My buddy Will Holmes made this artwork. This is a picture of my 2008 Jeep Compass. It's pretty spot on, I think. It was the funniest looking car I've ever owned. I would pull this thing up beside Porsches. There's a picture of that. And I would pull it up beside bigger trucks thinking it looked sick. Not that it looked sick, it was just so funny to me. I loved memeing with this car. Put it on the road right after the Monte Carlo died. Finished high school with it, and then spent the next summer with it. It made the first ever Golden Lake trip with all my friends. The best part of the first road trip going to Golden Lake in that car was we got to Golden Lake, so where my cottage is, and as soon as we hit that sign, my transmission started overheating. It did not like the 2.5-hour drive. Other than that road trip, we spent a lot of our summer taking it to the quarry. My friends would jump off the roof of it. Like, we'd bring it right up to the rope swing, jump off. Definitely finished that summer on a high note with that thing. But then, as soon as I went to college, my first day driving it home, it died on me. Here's something else that Will made me that's super funny. So I didn't have like a sun visor. So Will made me this. It's Danger Skinny's Ahead. And that's him in where the mirror's supposed to go. This next car, everybody wants me to sell it because currently it just sits there and I haven't touched it. But it's my absolute favorite car. This is my 2004 Lancer Ralliart. The first car that I started actually modding and doing things to. I drove all the way to Markham, which is like a 5-hour drive. And I bought it for like $600 at the time. I forget how much exactly. It was manual, had a carbon hood, MagnaFlow exhaust, a bunch of different little things done to it. At this point, I'm still in college, and it had the MagnaFlow exhaust, but it wasn't even attached. It was cut down the middle, and I just never fixed it. And for some reason, I thought I was the coolest guy leaving the parking lot. So embarrassing now to think about this thing because it sounded terrible. At least with the MagnaFlow exhaust, it kind of has a little bit of a tone to it, but this is just straight pipe. I ended up learning to do little things on this car. I put air intake on it, put a racing seat in it. Not professionally, a racing seat. We're not even going to start talking about that. Set up like my first subwoofer and amp in that. Bunch of cosmetic work. I redid the whole engine bay paint, and I still to this day think it looks sick. Currently, the car has been sitting for like 2 years. And I always say that I'm going to do something to it, but I don't. But it's still better than selling this car. I am in love with this car. The first year of owning it, I quickly realized how unreliable this car was. It broke down a couple times, so I got this next car, which was my 2008 Honda Civic. base model, bright red two-door, manual. It was a fun little car. It was slow as hell. I drove it for a little over a year, and then, but within that, I also put the Lancer back on the road in the summer. It was mainly just a winter car for like a year. And then I traded it for my 2015 Jetta, which was a 1.8 TSI, my first turbo car. To this day, it's still my most fuel-efficient car I've ever owned. I do a lot of driving for my job, and I put 100,000 kilometers on it in a year and a half. I put an intake on it, but other than that, didn't do much, just was the work rig. But in between of owning the Jetta, I bought a few other projects, so let's get into those. First one, I got this Dodge Ram for free. It was a work truck at my grandpa's shop. Got this because it was starting of COVID, was super bored, had no plans for it. Didn't know what I was going to do it. Got it home, straight piped it. Didn't have any brakes. We decided we were going to use it for our channel. And we turned it into whatever the hell this is. It was super fun. Loved this truck. Then we just ended up scrapping it. It was a piece of shit. After the Dodge Ram, I got this 1991 Mitsubishi GTO. Still have it. Not planning on getting rid of it. It was in really good shape, as you could see in these pictures. So the story was, my uncle bought it from a guy in Quebec in 2006-ish. And drove for a little bit, needed a head gasket. Tore it apart and didn't finish the job. It's called the GTO, but it's because it's right-hand drive. It's from Japan. We had it as the 3000 GT here. But this car was all-wheel drive, all-wheel steer, 3-liter V6 twin turbo. It had active aero, a bunch of cool things on this car. Reason why it's still not getting done is because I didn't know enough about cars whenever I got this, and the 3000 GT, that base, is the worst car to work on and probably one of the most expensive cars to buy parts for. But whenever I was at this property, that wasn't the only thing I bought. I got this 1993 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. This was only the SL, so it was naturally aspirated, no turbo. My uncle actually drove down to Florida, picked this up and brought it back. Eventually got it running. I sanded it down, quickly found out that I could not paint, and I don't plan on painting again. Currently, both these cars are tore down because I'm going to build one good one. Other than that, nothing really else to say about that one. Then I got my 2006 Mitsubishi Lancer Rally Art. This was my friend Styles' car. He had it on the road as daily driver until he got a Veloster, and we were drunk one night and he said, I have a bunch of Mitsubishis, take it for free. And I was like, this kid's drunk, he's not actually gonna give it to me for free. Wake up the next morning and all he sends me a text is, free Mitsubishi Lancer. I was like, okay, picked it up that day. Now, this guy is my roommate. I'll put his Twitch in the description. This car was in terrible shape. The rockers were completely rotten on it. You couldn't fill the gas tank above like a half tank or it would just leak everywhere. The wheel bearings were louder than the exhaust leak. It would have cost a lot of money to get it back on the road. So what I did was took a tractor and I ripped that engine out in case I needed anything for my Lancer. Now the really good thing about this car is it came with these RTX wheels. I know, not a crazy wheel. But I painted them and now they're on the giveaway van. Which brings me to the next car, the giveaway van. This is my 1993 Toyota Estima Lucida. Right-hand drive, 4-wheel drive, turbo diesel. I'll put the link to my actual van tour video in the description of this if you haven't checked that out yet. So the story on this one is, I was scrolling through Facebook one night and Kenny Upol has a post. It was this crazy weird van that just caught my eye and I fell in love with it. Ended up buying it the next day. Sounds like a friggin' spaceship though, which is sick. Like I said, I'm giving away that van on this channel as soon as I hit 500 subscribers, so subscribe now if you want to be part of that. We're getting close to the end. Next one was one of the most pointless cars that I bought. It was an 06 BMW 325 XI or iX, I don't know my BMWs. probably won't buy another one again because I hated this car. I bought it with a couple of my buddies for $600. Our plan was to fix it up, turn it into like a drift build. Ended up sitting for 6 months without anything happening to it. And then one day some guy just drove by, pulled in, he was like, I'll give you, I think, $200 for it. And I said, take it. He took it that day. I got a video of it leaving on the flatbed. So this whole time, I'm still driving the Jetta. I drove the Jetta until the May that just passed, when I bought my 2014 Ford Focus ST. Definitely overpaid for this. I spent way too much on this. They did repaint the whole thing, so it was a lot cleaner. Fastest car that I own right now because the other ones don't drive. Beautiful turbo noises, and it has a stock blow-off valve, which is crazy. So far, I've done some cosmetics. It's now sitting on Rev 9 coilovers, which are just the eBay specials. Cheapest thing I could buy. I got a Cobb short shifter plate for it, which makes it a lot of fun to drive. Don't plan on getting rid of it anytime soon. I'm slowly going to keep doing more to this car. Since May, I put 30,000 kilometers on it. It's not going well, so that's why I bought the next car. Most recently, I got this 2011 Ford Fiesta. Piece of shit. I bought it to use it as a winter car. Stopped running the day I got it, which was the last video, I believe. Could be 2 videos ago, I don't know yet. Sent it to Ford, and they were like, $3,360, and we'll have it running again. These things are selling for like $2 grand running mint with less kilometers on it. So no, not a good idea. Now I bought this without even seeing it, so it's totally my fault. But I thought I was getting a good deal on it. But that's it for the cars that I have here right now. I actually do have a car since I'm not putting this green Fiesta on the road anymore. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. I got another car. In the next couple of weeks you'll see it. But I did get a more reliable car, I'm hoping. But those are my cars so far. If you can't tell, since I started, it kind of turned into an addiction of just destroying and getting newer cars because I get bored of them super easy. I know this was a little bit of a different video, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Like I said, only reason why I'm doing this is because the other video was not ready. And right now I'm like 9 weeks straight, and I am not falling behind on that. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. If you made it the whole way, thank you. It means a lot. Oh, say goodbye. Look at the camera. Say goodbye. Right here. Right here. Say goodbye.